This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Monday. Now, before we get started, I had a bunch of people message me and ask me why I did not stream Joe Biden's victory speech on Saturday. Now, we had already done two speeches that I thought Joe Biden should have been giving a victory speech. I had a date on Saturday night, and she actually, she made herself a drink and then, wanted me to take a sip of it. And I'm like, no. I was like, if I'm going to drink, I'd rather take a shot and actually, feel it. But I'm a lightweight. So I had every intention of streaming the victory speech, but I did shots with her, and then we all know what happened. Last time I got drunk and tried to stream, I yelled at C-SPAN. And since the Troll Patrol news desk had called Biden as the winner, 3-4 weeks ago? I decided to not stream the victory speech. I hope you guys had fun with it. I know I had several friends that were very celebratory over Biden winning. I was celebratory over Trump losing. The fight against the asshole Democrats is just starting. But we're going to get into that here in a little while. But first, we're going to start off the night with what some people might call some schadenfreude. Right Wing Watch compiled videos of cocky-ass right-wingers saying stupid shit before the election. So we're going to watch some of those right now.
Democrats, look, I have to tell you guys something. I gotta tell you something, all right?
The Dilly Show.
Dude, we're gonna butt fuck you into oblivion tomorrow. You don't got a prayer, dude. You guys are gonna get absolutely savaged. Savaged! I mean, fuck.
Remember how many times I have said on this very program, right-wingers live in a fucking fantasy world.
Up beyond belief. You have no idea what's coming. You think you know, but you have no fucking clue. Do you see that? Those aren't white supremacists, you stupid mouth-breathing assholes. Those are fucking Americans of all different backgrounds, races, and creeds. We're gonna fuck your shit up, and then we're gonna keep fucking your shit up for the next 4 years. Liberalism is dead. Y'all motherfuckers better get used to the sound of this right here, because it is your whole fucking party and ideology. Gone. Thanks to this stupid fuck. Good night, sweet.
My ideology isn't gone thanks to Biden. Jesus Christ. Fucking Biden is one of you guys. Shit.
So I told you I'd give you a prediction. 45 states. Same as I've always said. 45 fucking states.
45 states. What in the fuck was this guy smoking? All right, another one.
Third, it is going to be a 45 state landslide for President Donald J. Trump. There's nothing the left can do about it. There's nothing that China can do about it. There's nothing that Silicon Valley can do about it. There's not a fucking thing you can do. You ran a shitty candidate with a shitty campaign.
I mean, he's right about that. They ran a shitty candidate with a shitty campaign. They still beat Trump.
With shitty fucking surrogates, with a shitty vice president, with a shitty crackhead son for the president's kid. You got shitty...
Someone's a crackhead around here, indeed.
You have a shitty staff. You have shitty rallies. You have shitty-ass Jill Biden. And that's why you're getting...
First of all, Dr. Biden is pretty badass. I think I would have voted for her over Joe. No lie. 4 fucking degrees that woman has. Hell yeah, Dr. Biden. Congratulations, First Lady.
Getting your fucking asses kicked because you have shitty people with no talent and shitty ideas, and America hates them. You're gonna fucking lose. It's not gonna be close. You can take that to the absolute bank. Everything you're doing between now and then is just pulling your dick like a bunch of losers in front of the whole country. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna get your asses kicked on November 3rd.
I've just got one thing to say to you, Dilly.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do, Rudy. Oh.
To the left, we're going to be calling before California has even finished voting. It'll be over. This landslide is going to be so devastating to the left, we're going to be calling the election before California has even finished voting. It'll be over. They're going to be like, Trump won every swing state on the East Coast, plus New York, which we weren't expecting, Maine and New Hampshire. We never see anything like this. And we know that the Central Time Zone's not done voting, but Trump is already over 300 electoral votes. And Californians, you can stay.
I hate to inform you, Dilly, but fucking New York hates Trump. That's his hometown, by the way.
Help if you want, because he's not. Biden can't beat him. Let me repeat. Joe Biden cannot beat Donald J. Trump. They cannot stop the Trump train. It's over. Kiss it goodbye.
All right, this is a QAnon show.
I'm very confident that we're going to see an absolute landslide this year, and I think that we'll even see Trump win every single state.
She said every state. Shit, she predicted all 50. Now, it was a landslide. Right now, we're at 4.5 million votes and counting that Joe Biden won by. And Trump called his electoral win over Hillary in 2016 a landslide. Well, guess what? Joe Biden is going to beat him more in the electoral college by like two electoral votes more than Trump won over Hillary. So by Trump's own definition, Joe Biden won in a landslide. Here's Bill Mitchell.
Great. We're going to take back we're going to keep the White House. We're going to take back the House, not with a bunch of swamp dwellers, but with MAGA candidates. We're going to have a MAGA majority in the House in 2021. We're going to have a MAGA majority in the Senate in 2021. We're going to have Donald Trump in the White House in 2021 with a mandate going forward. Russiagate will be over. Many of these deep state guys, these conspirators, investigating the investigators, a lot of these guys are going to be on their way to prison. They're going to be indicted. You're going to see Comey in trouble, Brennan in trouble, Strzok in trouble, maybe even Hillary, maybe even Obama in trouble.
Now, these motherfuckers have been having wet dreams about that shit for years. But if there's a former president that's going to end up in an orange jumpsuit, I hate to inform you, Bill Mitchell, his name is Trump.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Let me
Yes.
explain what's going to be happening here shortly after Trump destroys Joe Biden on November 3rd. Our analysts over at Global Financial Wealth Network predict a 40-state romping crush by the
40 states!
Trump campaign over Joe Biden. Folks, it's not going to be pretty. If I was a Biden supporter, I'd be looking for where I can exit stage left come November 4th. Perhaps you need a stress ball or a crying pillow. But I can tell you right now, if you haven't figured it out, if you're not on the Trump train, you're...
Or maybe all the maggots on the Trump train needed a safe space, and that's why they're all fleeing Facebook and going to this Parler nonsense. Which, by the way, did you think King Troll of the Internet wouldn't follow you over there? Shit. I'm going to sign up for a Parler account on this show. Stick around for that. Hell, if I can broadcast the Troll Patrol on there, I'm going to. We'll add another platform to the list.
I just have a strong sense that Donald Trump is not just gonna win the election. And he's not just gonna win in a landslide, but he's gonna win in a mega landslide.
Now, guys, if you've been following my stream, you know I called it. Hell, my map was dangerously close. I got Florida and North Carolina wrong. I may still be right about North Carolina.
I just have a strong sense.
You got a strong sense. Your intuition was off. Now, this is, this is one of those crazy, Greg Locke, that's his name. This motherfucker right here.
Donald Trump is going to win in 2020 by an absolute landslide. This nonsense is worse than a witch hunt.
Now, if you enjoy watching pastors make fools of themselves, please stick around until the end of the show. Not that one, but I've got other ones, Breed Creed. Boy, oh shit. I've got one that possibly could rival the victory. Be sure to stick around for that. All right, Greg Locke, what you got to say?
In 2020 by an absolute landslide. This nonsense is worse than a witch hunt. It's a constitutional massacre. We are sick and tired.
Now, the irony of a fucking pastor talking about witch hunts.
Of leftist propaganda. You can't just make up stuff because you don't like somebody.
This motherfucker is literally propaganda.
We are going to win. That is 100% fact. America has spoken. We're sick of your foolishness. Donald
Can't just make up stuff, Greg Locke.
Commitment that President Trump communicated.
I have no clue who she is.
By declaring Golan Heights and Judea and Samaria as Israeli territory.
Oh, she's one of those Christian Zionists. I can tell already.
Commitment that President Trump communicated by moving the embassy, by declaring Golan Heights and Judea and Samaria.
Now remember, they don't give a shit about Israel as a country or the people of Israel, especially not the Palestinians, that the Israelis have their fucking boot on their necks. No. She wants all this to happen so it brings Jeebus back. Never forget that. Can I get an amen?
As Israeli territory. I expect that President Trump will be reelected. I do not expect that he will lose. There's a blessing that comes to that, or for that, and I believe because of that, God is going to bless this man for being obedient. With that commitment that President Trump...
For being obedient? Trump was obedient? What? Are we out of videos? Okay, here's another one.
Of God, that he became president.
Bill Mitchell again.
Also, is going to be a miracle when he becomes president again, and we win the House back. As I said in 2016, God plus us is enough. And
well, now they didn't win the House back, but they came awfully fucking close thanks to shitty ass Democrats.
That's true. God plus us is enough. Let not your heart grow weary, okay? Don't be afraid. Don't listen to the lies of the deep state. Don't listen to the lies of the media. Hang in there. Stay strong. Commit to bringing 5 to 10 of your friends to the polls either early voting or November 3rd. Let's show these guys what turnout really means. I predict there is going to be...
This guy's worse at broadcasting than I am after I've been like getting blasted on the bong. I sounded like that. That's why I quit hitting the bong at the start of the show.
Be the greatest Republican turnout in the history of this republic this November.
Hey, he was right about that. And that is something that should scare the shit out of you, is that while Joe Biden won more votes than anyone in the history of the country, Donald Trump is the second highest vote getter in the history of this country. And he improved on his margins from 2016.
Third, in the time leading up that, I think it is going to absolutely swamp Democrat turnout because Democrats are not motivated. Right now, Democrat enthusiasm is running about 12 to 14 points.
He's correct on that.
Republican. It has never been that much of a difference ever, folks.
He's right, and that's the reason why Biden almost didn't get out.
We're going to have a MAGA Senate. It's going to happen, folks. It's going to happen, folks. You thought those Democrats were crying on 2016. It's going to be a lot worse now.
Is that all we got? I was hoping we had some more. I was really, really enjoying that. Now, according to Axios, the Trump organization and the campaign are in complete disarray. And one of the most striking things that I heard over the weekend was that among the legal advisors in the campaign, they all just kept saying Amy Coney Barrett. And they weren't aware that they actually had to file suits in places in order to get a case up to the Supreme Court, that they didn't actually know how to proceed legally. They just thought Amy Coney Barrett could step in and give him the fucking election. And several of them have been told to not look for jobs, despite the fact that they're going to need jobs. And these are low-level staffers. A lot of them are probably like very inexperienced because it's the Trump administration. So I feel sorry for all those people. But when it comes to breakdowns, I don't think anything. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. That was a fantastic GIF I saw. Now this. Now you're watching them kind of dance around here. You're never going to guess what fucking song they're dancing to. It's gonna blow your mind. Holy shit, if Tom Morello saw that, I'm sure he's having a hell of a laugh. But yes, check on your right-wing friends. I don't think they're okay today. They haven't been okay for several days. Now this is Representative Matt Gaetz, who, when trying to find this clip, I actually came up with this motherfucker has been yelling voter fraud in like every election for the past couple of cycles.
That were used in a number of states that were switching votes, that would be deeply problematic. And similarly, if you have people who are no longer residents of a state voting in that state, it's a challenge. But look, Steve.
Now, what he's talking about is there were several people in Arizona that were registered that had addresses that were out of state. Turns out those were military people, Matt. And they are very upset that Republicans filed lawsuits to try to throw their votes out. But Republicans are fucking shameless.
We've got to remember Donald Trump has built a great Republican Party. It's a party that is doing better with Hispanics and African Americans than it has in a generation.
Yeah, he's right about that.
Has an obligation to the party that he built to ensure that we expose and litigate every true example of fraud, because if we don't do that, we'll never win another election again. Democrats spent 4 years delegitimizing this president. They wouldn't go to his inauguration. Some wouldn't attend his State of the Union, and I thought that was classless. If this election doesn't go our way, we're not going to burn anything down. We're going to litigate before courts, and only when the courts have made a decision will we have a legit...
Now, I would like to throw this out to all my conservative friends. How do you feel about the Republican Party wasting taxpayer money, going to the courts with absolute bullshit? I don't know if you're aware of this, but most of the lawsuits the Trump campaign has tried to wage have been laughed out of court. Laughed out of court. You are wasting taxpayer dollars by trying to contest something. Fucking election fraud is virtually non-existent in this country.
Legitimate president, and I hope Republicans don't behave the way Democrats did these last 4 years. If it's not...
This motherfucker just talked about how Democrats didn't go to Trump's inauguration. I am making a bet now. Hold me to this, please. Trump is not going to attend Joe Biden's inauguration. He will, as far as I know, will be the first president in history not to participate in the peaceful transfer of power. Not only that, Vanity Fair is reporting, and and I've seen other outlets back it up, that it sure sounds like Trump is going to barricade himself into the Oval Office and refuse to come out. And it was this report that I heard right-wingers bitch about the tweet that Joe Biden sent out that said, we have ways of removing trespassers from the White House. This is what he was referring to. The reports that Trump is absolutely going to barricade himself into the White House. Now, Michael Cohen, Trump's personal attorney, he had a different take on it. So let's listen to what he had to say on, I think he was on MSNBC. Here we go.
Don't overpay for Best Buy. Capital One shopping can save you money.
You saw me drop the volume on that. It still played the
concession
ad.
Speech at all. I'll tell you what my theory is. My theory is that, Christmas time, he heads to Mar-a-Lago. And I don't believe he comes back to Washington. I think he stays at Mar-a-Lago all the way.
Now, I am with Michael Cohen. I believe that Trump is going to leave, but I think he leaves the country. I don't think he goes to Mar-a-Lago. I think this motherfucker is scared to death that he's going to be put into an orange jumpsuit. I think he leaves the country entirely. And there's a lot of people been talking about, is he going to run in 2024? Absolutely not, because one of the things that's going to happen on January 21st is I think he loses his Twitter. I think news organizations quit paying attention to him. We are going to see a shift. And after all this administration is not going to go out with a bang. It's going out with a whimper. And it's fucking hilarious. Just wait until we get to Rudy Giuliani's press conference.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, I do.
The way through the inauguration. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't show up to the inauguration.
He's not going to.
This is my feeling, that he cannot let the camera look at him.
Absolutely not.
Basically, pull down the curtain and see the wizard that's standing beside. He's a loser.
He's a loser.
Killing him. And, he right now what's going on in Washington, in the White House, is nothing but finger pointing. Who lost the election for me? How did I lose? Why did I lose? I had more people voted for me by 5 million than when I won. How is it possible?
Because he's a piece of shit. That's how. I'm still amazed how someone with a child rape accusation could win in the first place. That will boggle my mind until the day I fucking die. Some mediocre ass white man with a child rape allegation, not even counting all the other rape allegations he has against him, was able to become the president of the United States. And that lets me down so much. But I feel vindicated for all the shit I've talked about this fucking country. It really is who we really are as a country. It's a shame that the black man had to be fucking spotless record. They tried to make up shit about him. But a man with a legitimate child rape allegation that's on fucking tape, talking about how he wants to fuck his daughter, was able to become president. It's a fucking shame.
So I'm here on behalf of the...
Now, before we get started, this is the press conference from the Four Seasons. Not the Four Seasons Hotel. Four Seasons Landscaping. This is what the place looked like. Remember we did the story about how the campaign is in disarray and doesn't know what they're doing? They booked a press conference at a landscaping company. Across the street was a sex shop and a crematorium. Oh shit. So let's but that's I wasn't going to do this story, but something came out this morning about something else that happened to them, because just him having it at the Four Seasons is hilarious enough. Let's listen to a little bit of it though. Doesn't seem like the audio is too good on it.
First part of a situation that is extremely troubling. First of all, for the state of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and then for a number of other states. And these lawsuits will be brought starting on Monday. But the first time it was discovered was here in...
They brought lawsuits last week.
Just a couple of days ago. The people you see behind...
They were bringing lawsuits before the fucking voting even started.
Poll watchers who will all testify that they were...
Now, this is in Pennsylvania, where they actually had to testify in front of a judge that, yes, the campaign was allowed access to see the ballot counting. And the judge looked at him and said, okay then, so what's your problem? And then threw out the case.
Uniformly will wait. That they were uniformly...
Now, did you see him taking out his phone?
To inspect.
Apparently, about that time is when Biden was officially announced as the winner of the election. So they're probably looking at the news alerts they're getting on their phone. The race has been called for Biden.
The mail-in ballots were a source of some degree of skepticism, if not a lot of skepticism, as being innately prone to fraud. The New York Times...
Yes, this is where that happens.
Written that
We're going to get to see it here in a second.
Under other circumstances, but of course changed their mind once it was a situation involving President Trump. Congress
now, several Republicans attorneys general
and compendious review of various
signed on to this nonsense
ballots as the most prone to fraud. With all that, you would have expected
lawsuits, including Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who I've bitched about a lot on this show because of the Breonna Taylor case.
Instead,
Kentucky has the same law he's contesting in Pennsylvania. That's how dumb these people are.
In a city that's been Democrat for 60 years and has a very long history of voter fraud, documented history of voter fraud, instead of going to a high degree of care to allow inspections of the mail-in ballots, there was no inspection of a single mail-in ballot.
I don't think that's true
at all. Those mail-in ballots could have been for anybody.
What?
Those mail-in ballots could have been for anybody they wrote in. Those mail-in ballots could have been written the day before by the Democratic Party hacks that were all over the convention center. What I'm saying to you is not a single one was inspected as the law required. Even when
they were. They had to admit in court that they were.
Allow the Republican inspectors to get 6 feet closer. They moved the people counting the ballots 6 further feet away. It's really simple. You have nothing to hide.
Oh shit.
Ballots. You allow inspection. I mean, this is common knowledge, common practice in the examination of absentee ballots, which happens all the time. Take out the absentee ballot, you open it up. The Republican looks at it. The Democrat looks at it. If nobody objects, you think we're stupid? You think we're fools? If either objects, you put it aside. That's what's done for absentee ballots, which have the extra security of having signatures you can match. Here, which a much more insecure method of voting, no Republican got a chance to look at that ballot. Some of the ballots you will see look.
See, they're all. He's looking at his phone right now. He's getting the news.
They look like same pen.
That Biden won.
Possibly same handwriting. We can't say that because we never got to see it.
I think the press asked him about it here in just a second.
Now you're also going to find that way across, on the other side of the state, there is a similar situation in Pittsburgh.
But the funniest thing about this hasn't happened yet. Please wait for it.
That were uninspected, unreviewed, not observed by a single Republican.
They admitted in court that's false.
Got to be a pattern.
A pattern of Republicans doing dumb shit. Fuck. And this is on Donald Trump's YouTube. Had to sell ads. That's how broke the campaign is. By the way, if you are getting emails, any of my conservative friends that may be watching this, if you are getting emails asking to contribute to his legal fund, do not do it. It has to hit a certain threshold before they even give the money to the legal fund. It's going to pay off the campaign expenses because he never pays his bills. I know, it is disheartening that 70 million people still voted for it. It is disheartening that 5 million more people voted for it than in 2016.
Mine says I don't believe in conspiracies, but I also don't believe in coincidences. Kind of funny that all Republicans were rejected here and all Republicans were rejected in Pittsburgh.
Kind of funny that he's lying.
Gee, just about the 700,000 votes.
Do you see the press leaving?
Head by 2 days ago that disappeared. And we have no way of knowing, because we were deprived of the right to inspect, if a single one of those ballots is legitimate.
Guys, are you ready for this?
That is unheard of. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional.
We're getting to the best part here.
And we will be bringing an action challenging that. And I emphasize to you, it's only one of the many other infirmities in this election. I know this city has a sad history of...
One of my right-wing friends sent me a whole list of shit. I looked at the very last one, and it was a wagon of ballots. I'm like, you know, like all this shit has been disproved, especially the wagon of ballots. That turned out to be a cameraman and his camera equipment.
Well, we should go see if Joe is voting Republican or Democrat now from the grave. Also, Will Smith's father has voted here twice since he died. I don't know how he votes because his vote is secret. In Philadelphia, they keep the votes of dead people secret. At least that is something...
They're supposed to keep the votes of everybody secret.
I'm not attacking the people of Philadelphia. I'm attacking your decrepit democratic machine, which has a lot of other reasons to be attacked. It's been around for 65 years. You keep electing the same people. The city gets no better. The crime goes way through the roof. The riots you have, the police stand by and watch it, not because of the police.
The crime, you know, are you talking about the police shooting somebody in the middle of the street? That kind of crime?
You are poorly served, ladies and gentlemen of Philadelphia. And then you got a political machine. Mayors who let riots take place. District attorneys who set criminals free. I don't think they're going to care much about ballot fraud. This is outrageous.
Now he's getting ready to bring up somebody to talk to us about fraud.
Very, very suspect method of voting. There was no security. Zero. The people of this city, people of this country, have no assurance at all that those ballots were actually cast. They would have to have been almost unanimously cast for Joe Biden in order to catch up.
Yes,
Let me have one or two of the people
in a large city that leans Democratic to begin with.
2 or 3 of about
mail-in ballots.
So far.
No, I want to bring up the fact that in Pennsylvania, the GOP sued to make sure that they couldn't count mail-in ballots until Election Day. And then they're going to complain that all the mail-in ballots, which lean Democratic because Trump was trying to kill his own supporters, told them not to vote mail-in, lean Democratic. It's no surprise. We talked about that on this show for weeks before the election. I was telling people watching my stream all the way back at the fucking conventions that we weren't going to know on election night who the winner was. And I'm not the fucking Karnak or anything. I just listen to the fucking people that know what they're talking about. People that aren't Rudy Giuliani. But here. He's getting ready to bring somebody up. Talk to us about fraud.
Affidavits, recordings. We're going to have many, many witnesses. It's not a small case. It can be a big case. But I wanted you to get the flavor of it here in Philadelphia, because we also have to alert the people of Pittsburgh that the same fraud was done to them as here. And I'll also add, same thing was done in Georgia. The same thing was done in Michigan. The same thing was done in North Carolina.
If there's such widespread fraud, why didn't the Democrats give themselves the Senate?
Sent out a little note that said, don't let the Republicans look at those mail-in ballots. At least not in the big Democratic hack cities that we control.
Don't talk about a
We
hack.
want to destroy those cities, and now we're going to destroy their right to vote.
Shut up, Rudy. Come on, bring the guy up. Come on.
So let's start off first.
His name is Daryl Brooks.
Friend, you just tell briefly what happened to you, who you are.
He doesn't even know who he is.
I am Daryl Brooks. I'm Philadelphia.
Rudy, you mighta should have checked out his background before you brought him up.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Okay.
Ah, shit. Let's listen to him here for a second. If you guys saw the story this morning, you know what I'm getting ready to call him on.
Daryl Brooks, Philadelphia resident. Been here for about 2 years.
He is not a Philadelphia resident.
I'm here to support our president, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to be on the go to the poll to watch. A lot of us were excited about the president winning a second term. And
So this was Rudy Giuliani's poll watcher, Daryl Brooks. Are you guys ready for who Daryl Brooks is? I've been teasing it. Because of course, Daryl Brooks is a convicted sex offender. And not just any sex offender. He's a child molester. Oh, fuck. Endangering the welfare of a minor for exposing himself to 2 girls, ages 7 and 11. And he's not a resident of Philadelphia. He is a resident of New Jersey. But he is our expert to prove that the Democrats are committing fraud.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, Rudy. Yes, I fucking do. I think right-wingers are some of the dumbest fucks walking the planet. Because you held a press conference at what you thought was a fancy hotel. And you invited a child molester, which, hey, birds of a feather, right? It's not like Rudy doesn't have his own accusations against him. I'm telling you, these people are absolute fucking morons. How in the world they ever got anywhere near the levers of power in this country is an indictment on the American people. And he got tricked by Borat over the summer. Don't forget that. Now here is Kayleigh McEnany, who I am almost positive this is a violation of the law, her doing this.
I'm Kayleigh McEnany here today in my personal capacity as an advisor to the campaign. I'm Kayleigh McEnany here today.
I am pretty sure the press secretary cannot do that. And she also gave campaign She gave information about the campaign from the podium in the White House. I'm almost certain that is a violation of the Hatch Act. So here we go, Kayleigh McEnany. Fox News was covering her little press conference
vote
here.
To be counted, and we want every illegal vote to
Whoa. I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance.
The other side is committing fraud. The guy who brought up supposed Philadelphia resident who turned out to be a child molester.
Oh. Let's continue showing you this. I want to make sure that maybe they do have something to back that up.
They don't.
That's an explosive charge to make. The other side is effectively rigging and cheating.
I mean, even Fox News is cutting away from them. And just before we came on the air, I saw this in Texas, where the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, has charged a social worker with 137 counts of election fraud. Now, what I found most interesting about this story is nowhere does it say that she was signing people up as Democrats. It was 137 counts. She was a social worker, and she was like a home health nurse, and she was signing up people that had mental deficiencies at a supported living facility. Now, as I read this story, and I also did some Google searching to try to find out, who was she signing? What party was she signing them up for? Because I feel like, had it been Democrats, they would have said that. Ken Paxton, a Republican, would have absolutely said if she was signing people up to be Democrats. But, since I know this is a trick for Republicans, they pulled this shit in North Carolina. A congressional race had to be thrown out. And the way they found out was the guy who was the mastermind of these Republican schemes to rig elections. He died, and his daughter went to go clean out his house. His estranged daughter went to clean out his house, got on his computer and found all these fucking documents detailing the fraud that the GOP has been pulling. And it was exactly like this shit. So I'm thinking she was doing it for Republicans. Simply because fucking Ken Paxton didn't say so. Now, Ken Paxton charged her with 137 counts of election fraud. Has some skeletons in his closet. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton was indicted 5 years ago for... You want to take a wild guess? Felony securities fraud. Do we see a pattern with these Republican assholes? I want to ask all you right-wingers out there charging the Democrats with fraud, saying dead people are voting. I've got a question for you.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Do you? Do you really? They do. Now, this happened on Fox News the other night. Oh, I guess it was on Saturday. So this is a Trump campaign surrogate speaking on behalf of the Trump campaign. This is a Fox News reporter. Now, she is off air. This is juxtaposed to what's going on air. This is a video of her reacting in real time to what was going on air.
Over whoever is decided to be the president. Remember, just because CNN says, or even Fox News says that somebody's president doesn't make them president. So I think everybody wants to know that this was done properly and legally.
What is
and that we
happening?
can
Like,
trust
Trace,
the
we've called
results.
it.
And I think we have to look into every one of these concerns.
Yeah, and I think. Yeah, and I think Cleta makes a very good point there, Steve. You know,
No, she didn't. Let's watch it again. Watch her face.
Remember, just because CNN says, or even Fox News says that somebody's president doesn't make them president.
I don't know if Andy Griffith is on, but I know Jeopardy isn't on. Speaking of which, I want to end the show. I want everybody that's in the chat right now, think about who would be your replacement for Alex Trebek. Rest in power, motherfucker.
So I think everybody wants to know that this was done properly and legally.
What is
and that we
happening?
can trust
Like, Trace,
the
we've called
results.
it.
And I think we have to look into.
Now, you mentioned one of the lawsuits. You mentioned Pence as the 46th president. One of the lawsuits that went down in Georgia was Republicans claiming that where people had written in Mike Pence, they actually meant to vote for Trump. And that those votes should be counted for Mike Pence. Seriously, these are the motherfuckers accusing Democrats of fraud. No. If somebody took the time to write in Mike Pence, clearly they're like a conservative Christian Republican and can't bring themselves to vote for Trump. No, they did not mean to vote for Trump. Retire the show. I should retire my show? Why would I do that? Retire Fox. Oh, Jeopardy. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was back on politics. Will Ferrell, you say? I've got my pick. I'll tell you at the end of the show. And if they can get him, if they can throw enough money at him, they absolutely should. Okay, so talking about reporters doing fun shit on the air. This guy, I think this was in New Jersey. A New Jersey reporter.
President. We're doing is we're looking. I know about. Buzz off.
So if you didn't catch that, see, is it replay?
President. We're doing.
So he asked the guy behind you, "How you doing, buddy?"
It is. We're looking. I know about.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is a good. I didn't even think about Neil deGrasse Tyson. That would be a good pick. I like that.
Buzz off. So here's the state.
Now that would have been awesome if he actually told the dude to fuck off, but apparently he said buzz off. And he tweeted, "So that's what it's like to go viral." But I told the guy behind me to buzz off when interrupted, and everybody around him said he said buzz off. So, unfortunately, he didn't tell him to fuck off. I would have loved it if he did. This is a piece from The Intelligencer that states that Republicans will learn nothing from a Trump defeat. And it's absolutely true, but Republicans aren't the only one that are going to learn nothing from this election. Democrats are already proving that they've learned nothing from this election. Dude, Mike Tyson would be an awesome pick. I would watch Mike Tyson host Jeopardy. Holy shit. You guys are awesome. These are some good picks. You might have me rethinking my pick now. So, shall we hear from a couple of Republicans about what they think about this election? Here is Representative, you know he's one of my favorites, Dan Crenshaw.
This is Dan Crenshaw with the Texas GOP, of course. So, Dan, the blue wave, at the very least, has been stopped in its tracks. Does it surprise you? Does it surprise you that everybody else was not predicting this?
This is necessary.
It doesn't surprise me that this infamous blue wave never seems to materialize, because here's the things Texans like their state.
Jesus fucking Christ! In the 2018 midterm, Democrats set a record for an off-year election. More people voted for Joe Biden than have ever voted for someone for president. But hey, this blue wave never materialized. Now he's right, because Joe Biden was incredibly bad for down-ballot candidates. But before we go any further, remember, I cannot stand Dan Crenshaw, and I would give anything to piss in his eye hole. Fuck you, Dan Crenshaw.
We like being the #1 business climate in America. We like our low taxes. We like less regulations. We like good governance. We like more freedom.
No, we didn't want to vote for him.
Safe communities. We like funding our police. See, all of these things are the complete.
I did not vote for Joe Biden. I voted for the party where AOC, Ilhan Omar, Katie Porter, Rashida Tlaib, Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush. I voted to empower those people. It didn't materialize in the way Dems thought it would, because they thought they could just ride Joe Biden's coattails. Joe Biden didn't stand for anything other than being not Trump. And that doesn't help down ballot candidates. It also doesn't help that Joe Biden made a concerted effort to say, hey, Republicans aren't bad. Here's John Kasich. I'm going to have Republicans in my cabinet. Instead of painting all the down ballot Republicans with the stank of Trump and talk about how they were enabling Trump. Joe Biden fucked it up for the down ballot candidates. And you will never convince me otherwise, but we're going to get into that here in just a little bit.
The opposite of what the left wants. The left wants to destroy our energy sector, raise our taxes, and make our...
No. The left wants to convert to clean energy and stop giving so much money to fucking oil companies, which I'm sure you're bought and paid for, Dan Crenshaw.
California's, I don't see why this would be a compelling message to win. And as we know, they
and you're damn right. I don't like plain mashed potatoes.
Almost aside from
I want some garlic parm potatoes. I want something with some substance.
Outspent by Democrats, and yet that blue wave was stopped right in its tracks.
Sure, and at the very last presidential debate, in about the last...
What the fuck was Kilmeade? Did you see the look on his face?
At the very last...
What is this look he's giving? I wonder if he's looking at Dan Crenshaw's eye patch and saying, I'd like to piss in his open eye hole.
Presidential debate.
That's all I can think about.
3 minutes, Joe Biden revealed he was interested in transitioning away from fossil.
Lost some people in the stream after I did the pissing in Dan Crenshaw's eye thing. Sorry if I offended you, snowflakes.
Fuels and traditional oil sources, and 10 million Americans make their living with that.
Because Democrats deserve to be yelled at.
Are you... what's your assessment of...
That's why I quit smoking pot on the stream, so that I would be more animated. So yell at people.
Filing suit in another number of states because they say that the voting, the voting was okay, but the vote tabulation, they're a little worried about whether or not it's accurate.
Yeah. This is why the integrity of our elections and the system that we use is so important.
Seriously, what the fuck is up with Kilmeade?
I was very outspoken on this in the months leading up to this, as everybody was arguing about changing election laws at the last minute to accommodate for the virus. And this is dangerous. As Bill Barr said, this is playing with fire, right? The integrity of an election system has to be self-evident. It cannot rely on the opinions of election officials or politicians saying, "No, don't worry, it's fine. You don't have to have a conspiracy."
No, I'm goddamn tired of these motherfuckers claiming fraud.
These irregularities
without any evidence.
Self-evident that it is secure. right? And which means the process has to be simple, the rules have to be strict, there has to be strict deadlines, they have to be transparent. These should not be controversial topics, right? And so to experiment with this low integrity voting process that many states have in one of the most divided times.
People have been voting by mail since before the Civil War. There's one state that votes entirely by mail. This isn't an experiment. Dan Crenshaw is a complete and total moron. I'm so tired of these people. And the sad part is they're not going to go away. Not only that, they fucking feel emboldened now. Especially people like John fucking Kasich. Thank you, Joe Biden.
Now is the time for Democrats, and I believe Joe Biden will do this, to begin to listen.
I don't give a shit what your ass has to say. And they tried to bring you into the fold so that you would deliver Ohio for the Democrats. Guess what? That didn't happen.
To what the other half the country has had to say. But we have to listen to what those folks, those Republicans, all across this country has had to say. The best thing that's happened to Joe Biden is the fact that the United States Senate is either going to be Republican or very close. And the far left can push him as hard as they want. And frankly, the Democrats have to make it clear to the far left that they almost cost him this election. And that congresswoman from Virginia warned the Democrats. You want to
Spanberger. We talked about her on Friday.
And I think this is an opportunity for Biden to talk about, the center right and the center left of this.
And that's another thing. The people were out in the streets talking about defunding the police. And the Democrats snarled their nose at them. And then wondered why their down ballot candidates lost. All over this country, progressive values won out in this election where they were on the ballot. Unfortunately, we have feckless Democrats that won't push for the issues that people enjoy. Won't push for the things that are popular in this country. Medicaid expansion won. Expanding the minimum wage won. Marijuana legalization, 1. Hard drug decriminalization, 1. Progressive prosecutors, 1. And it's a shame. It is a shame that there are things that have to be passed by ballot initiatives because the people that we elect to represent us say, no, we can't have Medicare for all in a pandemic. Joe Biden says he will veto Medicare for all, even if it passes. That is why Democrats lose. Medicare for all is a winning position. We know this. We've got the data on it. But you know what? It's the Democrats that are taking money from the healthcare industry that don't want to do Medicare for all. But it's the Democrats that are completely funded by the people, the Justice Democrats, that take no corporate PAC money, that are on the side of the people, and that will actually push for policies that the majority of America is for. That's who I voted for. And I've come to the conclusion that I'm probably going to vote Democratic the rest of my life. Because one of the reasons why the Republicans are so powerful is because they vote. They turn out even if they don't like the candidate, they vote. It empowers their caucus. So going forward, I don't see any other way. I wish there was a way that a third party could break through. But the only way that we are going to get the structural change that we demand as the people is to take over the only party that we can. So I hope all the liberals are going back to brunch and going back to their mimosas. Because that's a nice party you have. Be a shame if someone took it over. And I've now come to the conclusion that I was wrong in 2016. I should have voted for Hillary Clinton. Because having Hillary Clinton as my enemy in the White House would have been a hell of a lot more fruitful than having Donald Trump as my enemy in the White House. Because all I've been able to do on my show since I've been doing this is play videos of stupid-ass right-wingers and laugh at them. I don't actually get to talk about policy or substance. I would have got to talk about policy and substance had Hillary Clinton been in the White House. I'm sorry that I was wrong on that. Not because I would ever vote for Hillary Clinton. I should have voted for the Democratic caucus and to empower it. Thank God for the AOCs, the Ariana Presleys, the Jamal Bowmans, Cori Bush, Katie Porter, Sherrod Brown. There are some good Democrats out there. I don't know of any good Republicans. They're all fucking shit. Especially John fucking Kasich.
Country and what can be achieved, because we have enormous problems with debt, Social Security, Medicare, health care.
Oh, now the debt's an issue. Oh. Do not let this motherfucker into the Biden administration. We do not need austerity again. The people are hurting right now, but the people that the Democrats are going to listen to are people like John fucking Kasich, who wants to cut Medicare, wants to cut Medicaid, Social Security. Fuck you, John Kasich.
Little steps, little steps. One other thing, one Democrat told me at some point, if they'd have been more clear in rejecting the hard left, they would have appealed more to Americans who I believe essentially live.
Appeal to the people who looked at Donald Trump like, yeah, I'll vote for that. 5 million more people voted for him this time than voted for him in 2016. The Democrats ran the most far-right candidate that they could. And he was barely able to eke it out over one of the most disliked motherfuckers in the history of the planet. One of the most corrupt motherfuckers in the history. If you can barely beat a child rapist, you probably shouldn't be telling anybody else how to run a campaign.
In the middle. So I think actually he's in a better position.
And Kasich couldn't beat the child rapist in the 2016 primary.
They will not get those things done.
I am tired of these neoliberal assholes. And here's another one. Mitt fucking Romney. Is this the video? Mitt Romney on Meet the Press.
What would you like to see President Trump do this week? You've been here. You've lost an election. You've lost a close election. In fact, in some ways, I feel like there's some similarities, and it was very tight.
We do need some updates, man. First of all, getting rid of the Electoral College.
How would you like to see President Trump handle
statehood for our territories?
Well, the way I would handle the week and the way President Trump...
Would you like to see...
But that is never, ever going to happen if the Biden administration listens to fucks like Mitt Romney and John Kasich. You know it.
How would you like to see President Trump handle the week going forward?
Well, the way I would handle the week and the way President Trump would handle the week will be different. Because
ain't that the truth?
We're not going to change President Trump or his nature in the waning days of the presidency. And so
First of all, what's up with Romney? He looks like he's been up all night partying. His hair's a little wild and shit. Like he took a whore bath before he came on to Meet the Press. Were you partying it up with Biden? I bet they're friends. I bet they are. He looks like he didn't get much rest either on Saturday night.
I don't think I'm going to be giving him advice as to what to do. Clearly, people in the past, like myself, who've lost elections, have gone out in a way that said, look, I know the eyes of the world are on us, the eyes of our own people are on the institutions that we have, the eyes of history are on us. And in a setting like this, we want to preserve something which is far more important than ourselves or even our party.
Our country?
Preserve the cause of freedom and democracy here and around the world. But the president is going to do what he has traditionally done, what he's doing now. I don't think that's going to be a surprise for anybody. And by the way, he has every right to call for recounts, because we're talking about a margin of 10,000 votes here, or less in some cases. And so a recount could change the outcome. He wants to look at irregularities, pursue that in the court. But if, as
he's going to waste taxpayer dollars throwing a fucking big baby hissy fit.
Is there a point where pursuing that strategy undermines the democracy?
Well, I'm more concerned about the language that's used. I think it's fine to pursue every legal avenue that one has, but I think one has to be careful in the choice of words. I think when you say that the election was corrupt or stolen or rigged, that's unfortunately rhetoric that gets picked up by authoritarians around the world. And I think it also discourages confidence in our democratic process here at home.
Gets picked up by dumbasses on Parler.
And freedom. Why I think it's very important that we not use language which can encourage a course in history which would be very, very unfortunate.
So Mitt Romney being feckless as always. But now here's somebody that actually knows what the fuck she's talking about. But I can assure you the Democrats aren't going to listen to her. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I really should get out of the habit of calling her AOC. She is Representative Ocasio-Cortez.
Foremost, I want to acknowledge
and she deserves the utmost respect.
I acknowledge, first of all, just the really hard fight that a lot of our swing district members
she's AOC if I ever get the pleasure of playing with her on Twitch.
Republicans levied very effective rhetorical attacks against our party. That, I believe, is absolutely true. But I think one of the things that's very important is to realize that very effective Republican attacks are going to happen every cycle. And so the question is, how do we defend ourselves against that? If you look at some of these, some of the arguments that are being advanced, that defund the police hurt, or that arguments about socialism hurt, not a single member of Congress that I'm aware of campaigned on socialism or defunding the police in this general election. And these were largely slogans, or they were demands from activist groups that we saw in the largest uprising in American history around police brutality. And so the question that we have is, how can we build in a more effective democratic operation that is stronger and more resilient to Republican attacks? And I believe that there are many areas that we can point at in centralized democratic operations that are extraordinarily weak. For example, our digital campaigning is very weak. And this is an area where Republicans are actually quite strong. President Trump, he won the 2016.
Now, I am going to explain to you why their digital campaigning is weak. It's because they've got these apparatuses that already exist, where local TV stations make a shit ton of money off political advertising. I can tell you that for certain. Radio stations and TV stations love election time. And there are these strategists, campaign strategists, media people that give campaigns advice. And they love telling campaigns to spend money on TV advertising, which, by the way, all the data seems like it's pointing to is completely ineffective. So what AOC is talking about is countering the deluge of right-wing misinformation that's all over Facebook constantly. I don't know if she does it in this interview, but she pointed to a rep specifically that only spent $10,000 on Facebook in the last week. Spent all his money on TV ads. Barely pulled out a win.
Election, as we know, largely on digital organizing and strategy. And I believe that many Republicans were very effective at digital organizing and strategy as well, whereas the Democrats...
Digital organizing and door knocking.
Though it's 2005. And I know a lot of us don't want to hear
it was door knocking that put Joe Biden over the edge.
Better. And then when we really dig down and refine our operations, we can be more resilient to these strong Republican attacks.
You told the New York Times that you almost didn't even run for re-election, in part because of treatment from your own party. You said, quote, "It's the incoming, it's the stress, it's the violence, it's the lack of support from your own party. It's your own party thinking you're the enemy," unquote. Do you really think other Democrats see you as the enemy? Do you think Joe Biden...
Now remember, she is the number 3 fundraiser in the country. And one of the most shocking things about Representative Ocasio-Cortez is that she's more well known to Republicans than she is Democrats. Still.
Didn't see you that way?
Because Republicans have done a damn fine job of messaging and making her look like the enemy. Notice how Democrats never fucking do that?
I don't believe Joe Biden, I don't believe President Biden sees me that way. And I believe that that's actually one of the reasons why he won election. You know, there's a marked difference between 2020 and 2016 in how the Democratic Party was able to unify, to Joe Biden's credit, before the election and get everyone on the same page to make sure that we vote Donald Trump out of office. That being said, you know, there are, at least in the House caucus, very deep divisions within the party. And I believe that we need to really come together and not allow Republican narratives to tear us apart. You know, as you mentioned, we have a slimmer Democratic majority. It's going to be more important than ever for us to work together and not fight each other. And so when we kind of come out swinging, not 48 hours after Tuesday, when we don't even have solid data yet, pointing fingers and telling each other what to do, it deepens the division in the party, and it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible to pour gasoline on these already very delicate tensions in the party. So we can help. It's not saying that every member can...
And that's another thing that's just Democrats playing in to Republican messaging.
But it's to say that we have assets to offer the party that the party has not yet, you know, fully leaned into or exploited. And I believe that we can take some of these seats. You know, I think Katie Porter's an amazing example. Michael Levin. There are swing seats. Every single swing seat member that co-sponsored Medicare for All won their reelection.
Right.
And so the conversation's a little bit deeper than that, than just saying, you know, anything progressive is toxic and a losing message.
She's absolutely right. And should she decide to run in 2024, I'm all for it. But now here is Jim Clyburn, who more than likely cost Bernie Sanders the primary, with the machinations of the Democratic Party all coalescing behind Joe Biden right before Super Tuesday.
Let me get you to respond to something that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said in an interview this weekend. She said, the last 2 years have been pretty hostile. Externally, we've been winning. Externally, there's been a ton of support. But internally...
More than 100 members of the House Progressive Caucus now.
That was about how things have worked inside the Democratic Congress. How would you respond to her?
Well, you know, sometimes I have your problems trying to figure out what progressive means. You know, I tell people all the time, my father was very conservative. He was a minister. I never heard him ask his congregation to give conservatively. He always asked for a liberal offering. And so I believe that it's good to be conservative at times. And
what the fuck does that even mean? You senile old fuck.
In many ways. But it's also good to be liberal at times in many ways.
Liberal when you're given to the God.
Now, some people refer to me as being moderate. I've been called conservative, and I've been called a flaming liberal. What would we call John Lewis? You know, anytime you challenge the status quo,
dead.
Looked upon as being liberal. No, you just want to be a part of what's going on in this great country, the country that you've helped to make great, and that's all this is. So I don't get hung up on labels. So I don't know what I am. I'm an American, a very proud American, right. And I'm a Democrat, a very proud Democrat. So I just want us to be.
I don't get hung up on labels, but I'm going to go fucking throw out a couple. But hey, Clyburn mentions God. Well, apparently God is not happy with any of you fucks. According to George Pearson. I played a lot of Right Wing Watch tonight.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what you're doing.
He's speaking as God, by the way.
I'm not happy about what you're doing to my man. Now, he's speaking about Mr. Trump right there. He has yielded to me. He's endeavored to follow my word. And I am not happy with this that is going on right now. And then this is the second.
The dude that bangs porn stars, that lies constantly.
Second time I've ever sensed this, but I've sensed the Lord doing this. And he says, watch me work. Watch me work. So this is a word from the Lord, and he's not happy with what's going on. He's not happy with some of these things that have been decided, and he's not happy with the opposite direction that he wants to go, where abortion is concerned, where the Supreme Court is concerned, where religious liberty is concerned, where Israel is concerned. And he's saying, watch me work.
Now, I've read the Bible. I don't think that God is a very big fan of the Jewish people.
In the midst of this,
He's been awfully hard on them.
the name of Jesus and take authority over the powers and the principalities and the spirit of communism that is trying to infiltrate, overtake, and attack this nation right now. You bow your knee to the name of the Lord Jesus.
And somebody on the stream was wondering why I was yelling? Shit. Ask this motherfucker why he's yelling. He thinks God's talking to him.
You hear the voice of the Lord through this man of God. You have no authority in this. Watch me work.
Now. If God isn't happy, then no one told Kenneth Copeland, because motherfucker's laughing up a storm about this election.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 The media said what?
Other dude said God wasn't happy. Kenneth Copeland looks awful fucking happy. But hey, if I had his millions and millions of dollars and his private jet, I'd probably be pretty happy too. All right. So I promised my pick for who I thought Neil deGrasse Tyson was an excellent choice. Mike Tyson is an excellent choice if you want to go with humorous. My pick would be Neil Patrick Harris. If you've got the money to throw at Neil Patrick Harris to get him off of the stage that he's on, do it. He would be a great host of Jeopardy. But yeah, it's very sad that Alex Trebek passed. Ironic that he passed, a week after Sean Connery? I mean, two old men. It's just a coincidence. But still, that's... No one Neil Patrick Harris. Why? I thought the dude that, Will Ferrell. I just, Will Ferrell's got such a successful career. And I mean, I know Neil Patrick Harris does too. But game shows are a little different. They are filmed, you film a shit ton of them all in 1 week. So I think you might be able to work out something. Will Ferrell, I wouldn't want to see him doing his impression. I thought maybe the guy that plays Sheldon on Big Bang Theory, he might be good. I think I really do like the Neil deGrasse Tyson suggestion best. Maybe even Bill Nye. Could you get Bill Nye to do it? But as I understand it, Bill Nye is a little vulgar. Will Ferrell. I tell you what, in honor of Alex Trebek and Jeopardy, I already watched some Jeopardy over the weekend. I watched a few episodes last night. I'll go pull up some Will Ferrell as Alex Trebek. It's Daryl Hammond as Sean Connery, right? Yeah. Oh, Trebek. A good tribute. Well, once again, rest in power, Alex. That'll do it for us here on the Troll Patrol Live. We'll see you tomorrow night. Go ahead, light one up. Tip rum. I'm not even drunk. Go ahead, light one up. Tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol.